Flood alerts are in place in many parts of Central Europe in the wake of torrential rainfall that has caused many of the region's rivers to swell dramatically. Among the worst affected areas are Austria, the Czech Republic and Poland. With rain continuing to fall and floodwaters moving downstream, forecasters warn the worst may yet be to come.
Central Europe is hunkering down for what some are calling the flood of the century. Parts of Romania have already been battered by torrential rains and flash flooding. Several people were killed and hundreds evacuated. Just 1 week ago, firefighters in western Romania were battling blazes. And now, in the country's east, they're wading through floodwater. To the north, in Poland, residents arranged sandbags in an attempt to prevent water from entering their properties.
I've prepared sandbags and pumps, but it's impossible to predict what's going to happen.
Prime Minister Donald Tusk visited one of the towns threatened by the floods to show his support. In some parts of neighbouring Czech Republic, rivers have risen to levels not seen for half a century and at an alarming speed.
It was very fast. An hour ago there was more or less no water flowing, and then within minutes it started to rise by tens of centimeters and started to flow rapidly. So there really wasn't much time to deal with it.
In the city of Brno, patients at the Merciful Brothers Hospital were evacuated due to the high-level threat. Some communities in Austria have been declared disaster areas as emergency services race to provide added protection from the rising waters.
We're now in stage 1 of the alarm plan. We're building up as much as we need according to the forecasts, and we can then easily increase the amount within an hour or so.
From 30-degree heat to torrential rains in just 7 days. Scientists say that as climate change intensifies, these kind of erratic weather patterns are likely to become the new normal.
Let's get more with journalist Stephan Bachenheimer, who joins us from Passau in southern Germany on the border with Austria. Stephan, welcome to DW. What is the situation where you are?
Where I am here at the three-river triangle in Passau, the situation is relatively calm, but there's a big but, because this perfectly illustrates here what is going on. We have 3 rivers here, the Danube, the Inn and the Ilz. The Danube right now, the benchmark is around 8 meters. In June, they had a 10-meter benchmark, so it's not that bad. But the Danube is the only big river in Europe that moves from west to east. So going through Central and Eastern Europe, the Danube will pick up more water, will go through the Vienna area where rains are very, very heavy, and will finally create lots of havoc going through these areas on its way to the Black Sea. Now, then there is a variable here, which is the Inn. The Inn goes through the Austrian Alps, goes through Innsbruck and so on, and that is an area where all the rain has not come down as rain, but as snow. In the Chiemgau Alps, for example, the area south of Lake Chiemsee, west of Salzburg, there are 80 centimeters of snow that have fallen overnight. There are streets closed with 30, 40 trees broken down because they couldn't hold up the snow. All this snow is going to melt in the next couple of days, and that will, of course, come down again. So the level here right now might be rather calm, but it can rise again and create a lot of danger.
So with that risk of flooding, what are authorities in Germany advising people who live there?
I think they're advising almost everywhere, just stay at home if you're in an area that has been affected. In particular, like the snow situation in the Alps is unpredictable. People don't have the right tires on their cars yet. There is a lot of danger from trees, for example, and in other areas where people, have accidents with cars because the floods are very high. There's a risk of going into areas where the water is much higher than people think. So the best is just stay at home. And then, of course, in some areas that are at risk, the fire departments are handing out sandbags and so on to protect your basements from being flooded, for example.
So let's zoom out a bit. Our report there focused on the flood situation in the Czech Republic, in Austria and in Poland. And it seems like things are set to get worse, aren't they?
I think that could very well be, in particular, given that all these rivers now are swelling on the Danube, for example, swelling on its way to the Black Sea. The snow that is melting and will add to the disaster. And of course, this whole area where rains are coming down still is rather large. So rivers will carry a lot of water, and the grounds are already saturated. There's always the risk of dikes breaking because they are getting too soft. So people have to brace themselves for potentially more disaster.
Journalist Stephan Bachenheimer in Passau in southern Germany. Thank you so much for your reporting.
Thank you.